Remember, during the President Zuma, we had an IRP that had around 9,500 megawatts of nuclear. Then it was reviewed when Cyril Ramaphosa came into power. We ended up with only 2,500 megawatts. There are houses, there are roads constructed, there are buildings, there's so much that is happening. I mean, in that plant alone, there's 200 companies working on that site. It's currently regarded as the biggest construction site on the African continent. And there's 34,000 people working on that construction site. The government, Minister Mantashe and Minister Ramokgopa, they were taken to court and Spotla said it's fine. I'll start from scratch, and he did exactly that. So how many people have died due to this technology? Nuclear has less than solar. But now we are focusing on nuclear because, you understand.
Yeah. Mashiane, politically incorrect. She's coming back to the podcast for the second time. She's going to explain what she and her colleagues in the energy space were been speaking about. I mean, the numbers are quite big. I mean, 2.2 trillion. You would think it's a social media gimmick, but it's true. 2.2 billion. I don't know in how many years she's going to explain it to us, but what I'm going to do is, Uma Duma is coming for the second time. What she did last time she came, she spoke about the nuclear space. She put it into context in South African space. I mean, I went to town to ask her about the historical things, the armaments that we have that are based on nuclear, and she explained it fully. So that podcast, you can see it at the end, or you could just click the information tab. It will just give you that if you want to go straight there. But what she's going to speak about is everything that she and her colleagues in the energy space were speaking about. I'm worried and I'm very excited. 2.2 trillion at an economy that is about 7 trillion, I think they said. Princy Dumela.
Hi, Mashiane, how are you?
Kishapu, babes were nuclear.
Babes were nuclear.
Yes. Okay, let's do this. Introduce yourself to those who do not know your work, and let's talk mixed energy South Africa. And what does this mean? I've got my pen. I'm going to write stuff.
I can see you well prepared.
Yes.
I like it.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. It's good to be back. My name is Princess Mtombeni. Many people call me Princy. I'm the founder of Africa for Nuclear, which is an advocacy campaign that promotes nuclear as a contributor to achieving Africa's agenda for sustainable development. That's basically me.
So, nuclear is not what he was announcing.
No.
What was announced?
Number one, who are we talking about here?
Our minister, Mopitori.
Yeah.
We call him Sputla. We can't get off not calling him Sputla. Yeah, he remains Sputla. I mean, even if he'll be the president, we'll call him President Sputla.
President.
Yeah. One thing, just so I can tell people who should understand how we love Sputla. So Sputla is not loved by accident. Sputla is one of the smartest politicians we have in South Africa. By quite a big margin. He's very smart and people understand him. Of course, it will come with a lot of hate when such happens. Sputla goes to Atteridgeville, his home, Kasi.
Yes. Kopeli.
I mean, with his wife and kid. No VIP protectors. No anything. You can even walk the streets of Peli. That's how much he's loved in. I mean, you can't do anything to Sputla here. By the way, for political reasons, when Tshwane was burning in 2016, it was chiefly because of that thing, because they wanted to bring Tugodi into Pitori, where it was held by Sputla. Just so you understand how much we love Sputla here. And I'm one of those who openly say I love Sputla very much.
Yeah.
Tell us more. What did Comrade Sputla say in that presser incorporating everyone in the energy space?
So what, now I'm going to say Sputla, what the minister said on Sunday, he was unveiling the Integrated Resource Plan 2025. What is Integrated Resource Plan? Shortly known as IRP 2025. IRP is the energy roadmap of South Africa. Now, it looks into this energy. Okay, it focuses on three main areas. That's energy security, reducing the cost of electricity, and minimizing carbon emissions. So that's what he was unveiling. It's a long-term energy plan, which envisions around 105,000 megawatt of new generation capacity by 2039. By new generation capacity, we are talking about an energy mix that include gas, renewables such as wind, solar, and energy and battery energy storage system, as well as nuclear. Very surprisingly, we now have nuclear in as part of the plan. Not only now, but because the Integrated Resource Plan 2019, which is the one that's being updated now. So this IRP gets updated. It's supposed to be updated in every 2 years, which is something I don't agree with. But now it happens in every 2 years. It gets upgraded, updated, not upgraded rather. So the last one we had was the Integrated Resource Plan 2019, but that one had nuclear as 2,500 megawatt capacity. And when the government started with the implementation of that, so there were a lot of issues, including the government being taken to court for what we call Section 34 determination. Because now this is what happens. As soon as the plan is unveiled, or gazetted, let me not say unveiled. So gazetting that plan, it goes through a lot of process, including the public participation process. So meaning that the energy technologies that are there, they were lobbied for by the sector, by the people, by different stakeholders. So that's what happened. But then it does not mean that the plan will get implemented immediately. A lot of processes that are still going to follow. So if the minister wants to implement, let's say, nuclear, that 2,500 megawatt that was in 2019 plan, he needs to gazette what is called Section 34 determination now, which involves the regulator, which is NERSA. Then another public participation process that needs to happen. So when the minister was taken to court for the 2,500 megawatt, before he even issued out what we call requests for proposals, like quotations in simple language, inviting the vendors to pitch their proposals. So there were a lot of issues, including the DA saying the process was flawed, number one, because when it was issued out, the Section 34 determination, it was Minister Gwedemantashe. Then after 2 years, then Minister Ramokgopa now comes and and continue with the process, which now according to DA has lapsed, because it's after 2 years since the minister, Mr. Gwedemantashe, issued out the Section 34 determination, which they argued that it was supposed to be implemented straight away before maybe 2 years come to an end. Now, and then the minister stopped the whole process, Minister Ramokgopa, and said, I'm going to start the process from scratch of 2,500 megawatt. But in that process now, the Integrated Resource Plan was due for review, yes, for update. Then he just started the whole process. The IRP was reviewed, which is also a long process that even includes the likes of NEDLEC. Then the one he was unveiling, it was sort of approved by the parliament. Now, after that, Section 34 determination, he is not going to procure a 2.2 trillion power plants. It does not work like that. But we will get into the budget issue right now. So meaning when the minister wants to implement either those renewables or even the gas plant, he has to now go through the Section 34 determination, where NERSA now is involved, and NERSA approves the Section 34 determination. After Section 34 determination is approved, then the minister says, because it's his determination to procure the gas plant to the capacity, let's say, for argument's sake, 1,000 megawatt. All energy sources, they work like that. Then once NERSA says, go ahead, NERSA also has to do their own public participation process. NERSA says, it's fine, we concur. That's what it's called. It's a concurrence. We concur, you can go ahead, Minister, and start the procurement process. Then the starting of the procurement process means the Minister now must issue out, or ESCOM must issue out the request for proposals, where they inviting the technology vendors to come and now pitch their proposals.
I want you to hold it there, and the specific reason is I want you to slowly take me and the audience with you. So this one, this IRP 2025, even though it's going to be updated every 2 years.
Yes.
It envisages 2039
yes.
as the year that this vision will be done. But every 2 years, it has to be reviewed. Or are we still in line? Are we still in? Are there chances of someone, if Ramaphosa, for example, drops, I don't want to say drop, but if he drops,
If it stops becoming the president, yes, and brings his own cabinet.
Yes. So, and when he drops, the shape of the cabinet will take a different style and new lobbies will come through. Is there a possibility of this IRP 2025, what it envisages until 2039, be changed? Because every 2 years it runs a risk of it being changed. The vision, I'm talking about the vision. You're not going to change it in its way, but the envisaged vision, could the numbers be altered?
That's the problem when it comes to the energy sector. It is a highly politically contested terrain.
Yes.
So every president, when they go to election campaign, they use energy sector. I'm sure Trump said, drill, baby, drill. That was his campaign. It happened.
Yes.
So there's a very high possibility that after 2 years, we have a different president who sees something different, or who has a whole different vision than the one that we have now. Remember, during the President Zuma, we had an IRP that had around 9,500 megawatts of nuclear. Then it was reviewed when Cyril Ramaphosa came into power. We ended up with only 2,500 megawatts, which was also not confirmed because it was not on the table, but those are technicalities.
Yes.
But yeah, we ended up with 2.5 from 9.5. And we never spoke nuclear until now.
Yes. Okay. Now that we are there, I think it's important because those who had followed us on the previous podcast will know you have dwelled and explained in detail what was, I don't want to call it a Zuma, but for common things in the streets, they called it the Jacob Zuma nuclear plan. Even though she
was
did
an
unpack
IRP,
it. Yes.
not just
Yes, she did
nuclear
unpack
plan.
it.
Yes.
And that one of 1 trillion sound like a you. And then now we are doing a 2.2 trillion.
Yes.
And I know you are going to unpack it for us, and I would want you to do it now before we lose people on this Jacob Zuma, because people, you do understand, they're going to compare it.
They already comparing on my socials.
Yes. Zuma was 1 trillion.
Zuma,
And it was only nuclear.
you never wanted nuclear when it was Zuma. And that's not the case.
Please
I mean,
explain.
we've always advocated for nuclear. Let me rather say, when it comes to Zuma, from a technology perspective, technologically, he was right. And politically, well, I mean, the global politics were...
He didn't win.
Yeah, he didn't win. So politically, it remains uncertain whether he was right or wrong. But when it comes to technology, he was definitely right. It's just that the global politics did not favor him, or did not favor nuclear at that time. Right now, globally, nuclear is the new trending kit. Everyone is talking nuclear. I mean, there's about 70 nuclear power reactors that are under construction globally. Different, even Trump signed an executive order that says the US must accelerate the implementation of nuclear. So you see, so globally, nuclear is favorable.
And how do we compare Egypt locally in the continent?
On the continent, Egypt is building already. So Egypt did not wait for politics to favor them.
Yeah.
They made a decision. So unfortunately, with South Africa, we always, we are in the middle.
Yeah.
We never decide what we want. So Egypt decided long ago, before nuclear was trending, that we are going to build. And they started with the construction. I mean, they just halfway through to completing that plant. And it's going to be the bigger plant than what we have in South Africa. South Africa has Quebec. Quebec give us around almost 2,000 megawatts of nuclear. And it's only in Cape Town. So it powers half of Western Cape community. What the Egyptians are building, they're building 4,800 megawatts of their plant. So it's 4 nuclear reactors. Quebec, it's 2. So El Daba nuclear power plant in Egypt is going to be twice the size of Quebec. So they're going to surpass us when it comes to nuclear energy development.
So in short, you are saying this IRP at 2.2 trillion is a mixed.
It is IRP is an energy plan.
Yeah, it's not a nuclear.
It's not a nuclear plan.
Yes.
It's an energy plan, and that energy plan has, as I said, it envisions South Africa having over 105,000 megawatts of new generation capacity. By
Hold it
generation
there,
capacity,
because I want to write it. Because perspective is very important here.
Yeah.
You are talking about the IRP 2025, the one that was just
2025,
2025.
That has just been
It envisaged
105,000. 105,000
yes,
megawatts of new generation capacity. And that generation capacity is an energy mix. They include gas, nuclear, renewables, wind, solar, and battery energy storages, and also coal. But when we speak about coal, I wanted us to talk about coal later. What the minister said, there's new coal generation capacity, but he's going to instruct Eskom to build a clean coal demonstration plant.
English match.
Yes. So a mock-up, a demonstration plant, which will looks into alternative ways or solutions on how we can, use not only alternate but cheaper and more efficient ways of making clean coal instead of what I think they are currently using, which is the flute gas sulfurization, something like that. So they are looking into that demonstration plant will look into alternative technology solutions. Then once we know that, definitely as South Africa, we are more capable of clean coal technologies, of implementing them, then South Africa will start building clean coal plants.
Okay. 105,000 megawatt. These are big numbers.
These are big numbers. And half, but by the way, out of that 105, renewables make up nearly half of that. So half of that comes from over half of that comes from renewables.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because this is where I wanted to come.
So renewables got more pie in
Yes.
piece of this pie.
Everyone. So when they say the cake is big enough for everyone to eat, there's no need for us to fight. We delayed ourselves already because we spoke in the previous podcast over something that we are all co-commodities. So I want to do this.
Yeah.
105 by 2039. What are we currently on? So if someone says South Africa's energy capacity is this, is almost saying Mashian Wolabukai. So I just want that.
So what we are currently on is, let me say, forget about the plants that are broken and all that stuff. Let's send you what we have in South Africa is 50,000 megawatts.
Okay. Yes. We are on 50.
Yes.
Okay, sharp.
So as Minister said, by 2039, ESCOM should be tripled. So we're going to have 3 times the capacity of the current ESCOM.
In 14 years, 13 years time,
Yes.
we would have doubled our...
Yes, tripled actually. 50 times, so you see 105, 50, 100.
Yes.
Okay.
It's double.
Double.
Yeah, it's double. A little chinyana. So, with two power, with two nuclears that we are currently punching on. So these are good numbers.
Not 2. So let me break this now.
I get 105.
So 105, then you are looking into maybe solar PV of, is it 20,000? What the solar PV? Is it 20 something thousand? And then you are looking into the wind of 34,000 megawatt. You are looking into battery energy storages of another number. And then you are looking into gas of 6,000 megawatt. So, and then you are looking into nuclear of, let's say, 10,000 megawatt. But that 10,000, what is confirmed is 5,200.
Okay.
So, Minister said 10,000, but 5,000 is something that we can wake up tomorrow and say we are building. Then 4,200, it will be advised by the nuclear industrialization plan.
IRP and
Integrated resource plan, IRP.
yes. And then nuclear.
Nuclear is now, let's say the confirmed one is 5,200 megawatt. You see, it's a small. The wind
2.5.
It's not 2.5, it's 5.2 gigawatt, 5,200 megawatts.
Yes, but what do we have now? 2.5.
We don't have.
We wanted 2.5.
Yeah, we wanted 2.5.
Yeah, and then Kubek is giving us this.
Kubek is giving us 1,900.
Kubek is
small.
1,900.
Yes.
Okay, no, that's why the Egyptians were better, more than double. Yeah, okay, sharp. I understand. Pardon me if you're confused. Lynn, I'm confused. What I'm trying to do is when I ask these questions, and sometimes we get to be lost. So I want us to, at the end, remind me, we are going to talk about what is gas, batteries, hydrogen, and nuclear. So almost the exercise that you did to say, ro fitla bjang ko 105. But I want to do something here. When I was asking when, I want to specifically go to the point of how do we know that we are already in? Because you spoke about how when they actually say, okay, then it's fine, you can go to the market and then he starts requests for proposals and stuff. Would we then regard that as we have started the plan, IRP 2025?
Yes, once we go out and say request for proposals, but as I said earlier on, it doesn't happen like that. Then the minister still has to write to the regulator, saying to them, I have a determination to procure 5,200 of nuclear capacity. Then NERSA has to conduct their own processes before they can say we are concurring. It's called a concurrence from the regulator's perspective. So that's why you find all these lobby groups like Greenies are able to stop processes in court because they know these processes they have to delay. You don't just wake up tomorrow and say, I'm procuring. Then you're going to go to court because the NGOs are going to take you to court. So NERSA still has to go through their own process before they can say, okay, Minister, according to the results or the recommendations of the Section 4 determination from stakeholders' perspective, we are concurring that you can go ahead and issue out the request for proposals. Then you gazette request for proposals.
Yeah. I'm making the third or the fourth attempt to ask Ori, when do we know that retain more retomile process here?
I want to tell you that okay, now let's speak from, let's say you are a power producer.
Yes.
You are a vendor, technology vendor.
Yes.
All that you need is the policy direction, which has been lacking since 2017. There was no policy direction. So even if you, let's say as a nuclear person, I go to in these international vendors and say, please fund me, I want to advocate for nuclear in South Africa, they would look away because there's no policy direction. Why should we care? You see, so now that there's a policy direction, then these technology vendors, they will now start turning their heads and look towards South African development when it comes to this. So we have a very important step. We've reached a very important step of having policy direction.
In layman terms, are you saying because we have now determined ourselves and we've committed to say this is what we want to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Then there's a policy direction. The policy is confirmed. So then the international partners can now look towards our direction to say, let's now, it's interesting what's happening in South Africa. Please now, let's look towards maybe now. They even start planning on how, as soon as, because they have to plan now. When the minister says we are issuing out the request for proposals, they have to be ready, because request for proposals for energy sector is not just thinking that, okay, maybe if you want 10 notebooks, they will cost I have to thumbs up. It doesn't happen like that. You have to start planning across. You have to know the area. Okay, what is in that area? Are there roads? Are there houses? Are there, because that's what the mega is, that's how mega projects work. So that's why we call them, that's why when we speak about energy sector, we speak about industrialization, we speak about development, because it's not just about switching the light on. It's about bringing this big project in an area where there's nothing. No roads, no houses, no taxis, no hotels, nothing. So it's like, it's development on its own, because all these parties now have to come together to make this one project, a big project, a success. I went to Egypt, El Daba, not long ago, and I got there. It was surprising, because, I mean, 5 years ago, there was nothing there. Now, there are houses, there are roads constructed, there are buildings, there's so much that is happening. I mean, in that plant alone, there's 200 companies working on that site. It's currently regarded as the biggest construction site on the African continent. And there's 34,000 people working on that construction site. So that's what we mean about
34,000. When this guy spoke about this is bigger than most most companies combined. That's why you say 200. You say 200 companies.
200 companies. I mean, yes. I'm being generous. There's more. There's 200 companies here. So it's many companies coming together. You're talking about taxi industries. You're talking about malls being built. You're talking about...
plants have to be there.
Housing, construction, because these people have to sleep somewhere. They have to stay somewhere. And road construction, they have to be roads for them to travel. We're talking about, let's say, travel agencies. If you have a travel agency, then you partner with, let's say, Eskom, for instance. We have to fly. Airbnbs, we have to fly, and people from overseas have to fly and find accommodation. So it's a mega thing that South Africa is that South Africa desperately needs.
I wanted to talk about construction. That which of these are going to end up in construction sites, multiple construction sites between now and 2029, and I want you to juxtapose it with Panyaza Lesufi, Cyril Ramaphosa. They've been speaking a lot about mega cities. Is this going to give us an opportunity to test if these mega cities could be developed? You spoke about sites.
Smart cities.
Yes, smart cities.
Ramaphosa speaks a lot about smart cities. Yes. That's what the Egyptian plant is going to achieve. It's going to have a smart city. And that plant, by the way, it has a technology to turn seawater into drinking water. So there's a desalination technology on that plant. And South Africa is struggling with water right now.
When Helen was still in the city of Cape Town, yes, when they were counting down the days, one of the questions people were asking is, guys, and like, how expensive is this desalination plants? I mean, for the longest time we've got almost free energy because of our code in South Africa. Why didn't even the apartheid regime at the time did not take advantage of? I mean, we had free energy that we would even give it away.
Yes.
Why were they not doing these desalination plants that
There was never.
because it was expensive, but now it's even more expensive.
It's even more expensive. And also, let's say there was no water issues.
Yeah.
There were energy issues. So they were focused on building energy plants.
Yes.
And what I say to people say 2039, that's a long. I'm like, plants, the electricity that you are using right now, those plants, they were also built within the space of 8 to 15 years. No,
Yes.
you can't plan for energy within the space of 5. It doesn't happen.
Microwave solutions.
Yes, Quebec was built within the space of 8 years. Maduva, all of these plants, they didn't take 2 years to build. They take longer. So that's what happens. That's why had we built a nuclear plant in 2017, right now we would be covered.
Yes, you spoke about that.
We spoke about that because, and people think that when you plan for energy, you're planning for them. And these people have children. Who's going to plan for their children when they don't want to? It doesn't work like that. You are not planning for yourself. You're also planning for the next generation to come, including our kids. They need to at least to live in a country where economic activities are happening.
Asking you as an advocate of a nuclear, Quebec,
Yes.
and at some point, I mean, we were the joys of Africa at some point, because we
still are. What do you mean?
yeah,
Egypt has not commercialized, so
we were the best in Africa because of what we had and the capacity that we had. And we spoke about in the previous podcast of how the Americans came in. We don't want to go there.
Yeah.
The yellow cakes and stuff. But now, someone is going to surpass us. What are our chances of South Africa? We are a proud nation. If I mean, we compete with Australia, we compete with Nigeria, we compete with people, and now Egypt is going to get one over us because we are at 1.9 in nuclear, and they're targeting around 4.8.
Yes.
This is like 3 times, almost 3 times us. So, in this space of the IRP 2025 envisaged for 2039, is there any possibility of us having a plant?
Yes, we have 5.2 that has been approved, that the policy says start building.
Wait.
That's 5.2.
5.2?
Yes.
Is it outside Quebec?
Yes, outside Quebec.
Okay, it's fine. So we're going to have this 5.2 plus this 1 point, or if the capacity is going to be increased.
If the government becomes decisive and say, no one is going to stop us, we are building, then we'll surpass Egypt.
So do we have a site?
Yes, we do have a site. Now, I said Quebec has 2 reactors.
Okay.
Eldaba has 4 reactors, so you can build more than just 2 reactors in the same plant.
Okay.
So what has happened is that there's an approved site at Dinafontaine. That's where Quebec is. That's where Dinafontaine, that's the site is called Dinafontaine. So meaning Cape Town again is going to have nuclear, because the nuclear builds, there's only one site that has been approved, which is the site at Quebec. So shine, Western Cape, shine. You can become independent.
Yes. No. Ska Dallas so. Ska Dallas. Yes.
So
Yes.
it's going to Dinafontaine.
Okay.
So we don't know how many megawatts that are going to be built in the Western Cape out of the 5,200. But now there's also a site in the Eastern Cape, the Thaispen site in where Jeffreys Bay, somewhere around there. It's called Thaispen. So Thaispen is still waiting for the environmental impact assessment authorization. So we're still waiting for the approval of that site.
Okay.
Once the approval is there, then we can start building in the Eastern Cape tomorrow. I don't know how many megawatts. But also, before you come in, we are looking into coal plants that are aging. There are so many coal plants there. Let me not say there are so many, but there are coal plants that are almost reaching the end of their lifespan. And what Eskom has done is that they are looking into coal to nuclear technologies, meaning converting those plants into nuclear plants. How are they going to do that? Because I'm sure some people are asking, but nuclear, you need ocean. Then that's where the small modular reactors come in, the technology. you can come in.
Thank you. I want you to factor in what you just said, small.
Modular reactors.
Yes. While you are on that, people built modular reactors. These modules, whatever happened, we slept on it, other countries ran with it, and they are doing much better.
Yes.
For us, it's a case of ASAN. Our politics played us because we had a gem. We dilly-dallied, people ran with it, and they are making successes of to people build modular reactors. What these modular reactors, and are they going to chip in? Now we've learned our lessons. Are they going to chip in, and where and how? Just basically tell us, what are they?
So small modular reactors are nuclear plants, but they come into smaller scale. Unlike Quebec, which is a big plant where you need an ocean.
Yes.
You see. So they come into a smaller scale. You can build them anywhere. You can build them in Holland and ship them to South Africa.
Sure.
You can build them inland. You can build them in Mpumalanga because there's no ocean in Mpumalanga. Yes. So they don't need water for cooling. And then, as I said, they come in smaller scale. Quebec is 1,900. It's 2 reactors of 900 each. So small modular reactors, they are small. They come from 100 to or even less, because 70 megawatt, 70, is it, did I say mega? Yeah, 70 megawatts to 300. For instance, you see, so they come in a very small scale, and also you are looking into issues of, the small, the reduced capital, the capex. So yeah, they are addressing the issues of cost, the issues of the ocean cooling, the issues of nuclear waste and stuff. So they come into smaller scale. Now, when it comes to South Africa, the story of SMRs, we call them SMRs. It started in South Africa. We once, during Beggie's time, Beggie approved for South Africa to build a...
Tell them who's Beggie.
President Thabo Mbeki, the former president. I must I tell him who does
you said Beggie.
Mbeki.
Yes.
Oh, President Thabo Mbeki
yes.
Approved for South Africa to build what we call a technology that originates from Germany, but it was implemented in South Africa. It's a small, it's a PBMR, pebble bed modular reactor. So PBMR was also one of the small modular reactors, and then we started with the development of that plant. But then in 2010, it was placed under care and maintenance. It was discontinued.
I want you to talk about it.
Yeah.
Tell us the politics of it being discontinued.
No, it was discontinued, and then the issues were that there's not enough, the budget for it. There were a lot of issues around it.
Mostly political, you think?
It was political.
So politics won in engineering.
They always win. I tell you, energy is a politically contested terrain.
Yes.
So just know that politics will always win.
Yes.
And when people say, why do you want nuclear now? Because Zuma, we said during Zuma time, we don't want nuclear. And I have to explain that during Zuma time, no one said, okay, let me not say the energy sector, or as the nuclear sector, we never said we do not want nuclear. But Zuma lost in court. I told you that lobby groups, they take you to court and they will find a loophole to take you to court. So that's what happened in 2017. They took the government, because it's not President Zuma, the then Minister of Energy, to court. And unfortunately, he lost the bid because the court said, and it's very important to mention it, the court never said nuclear was wrong for South Africa or was expensive. No. The court said the government did not follow the processes, as I explained earlier on, the public participation process, all of these processes. So that's what the court said. They said, government, you did not follow the constitutional processes of procuring nuclear or energy technology. So go start from scratch. Unfortunately, it did not happen that the government now start like our Sputler did. He said, okay, it's fine. I will start from scratch. And he started. And he started quicker than we expected. Yes. He also lost in court, by the way. And people think it's President Zuma who lost in court when it comes to nuclear. We had 2,500 of nuclear capacity in 2019. And The government, Minister Mantashe and Minister Ramokgopa, they were taken to court, and Spotler said, it's fine, I'll start from scratch, and he did exactly that. So courts will always be there. Lobbyists, green lobbyists, or whatever, they will always be there.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's accommodate the greenies now.
Yeah.
They've threatened us about, and I know you discussed it in the other end, they've always threatened about waste, and they would always mention Fukushima, and to some extent, they will also take us to Ukraine. Just for those who did not watch, just very short, just explain the difference between Fukushima and, of course,
Chernobyl.
Yeah, Chernobyl in Ukraine,
Yes.
but Fukushima in Japan.
Yeah. So what happened?
Just explain the difference between there and in Japan,
Okay,
and why we have a plan in our waste in South Africa, because I know waste was one of the biggest problems.
And I don't know why people say waste is the problem, because I always ask, where have you heard in the world that someone died or is in hospital because of nuclear waste? We've had nuclear waste since the 60s in South Africa, because the Pedindaba plant started operating in 1960. So we've had nuclear waste, and we are the only industry that takes care of its waste. So we do take care of nuclear waste. But when it comes to what happened in Fukushima, Chernobyl was an emergency exercise gone wrong. It was not approved. So, I mean, in every sector, we have what you call the emergency exercises. Even in hospital, even all the sectors, they have that. So
Emergency drill.
Yeah, drill. So they did a drill which went wrong. But the Chernobyl plant, it was also a design. It was the design was faulty. Yeah. So, but what the incident happened when they were doing that emergency drill.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we ended up with that big incident, as they mentioned. But if you now let's go to Fukushima. Fukushima was a tsunami. It was a tsunami, and what?
Yeah. So, it's an earthquake.
It was
into a
earthquake.
tsunami.
Yeah.
Tsunami hit the plant in the
hit the
ocean.
plant. And by the way, Fukushima is proof that nuclear is safe, because that plant shut down itself. And then unfortunately, no one died in Japan due to nuclear radiation or whatever. People died because of tsunami, and I feel that we are not doing justice to those people or family members who lost their members during tsunami, because we now turned the whole tsunami thing into a Fukushima nuclear incident. It wasn't a nuclear incident, it was a tsunami wave, and people were evacuated safely from the area, and the area was left with no people. But then now, but that plant shut itself as soon as it sensed the danger. It automatically shut down. And that's what is happening with the new plants, or the new generation of nuclear plants, because we have different generation technologies there. Generation 1, Generation 2, Fukushima and Chernobyl are Generation 2. And now we are building Generation 3 capacity, much better, which are learning from those incidents. But when we look into this, we are looking into 2 incidents. I'm going to say 2 incidents because, or 3 incidents, including the 3 Mile Island. We have over 144 nuclear power reactors that are operating globally. And if you look into statistics when it comes to energy sector of that, how many people have died due to this technology? Nuclear has less than solar. But now we are focusing on nuclear because, you understand?
Yeah. So we're getting to the end now. You've addressed the greenies in terms of the fear mongering that was there. So
nuclear waste. I have not addressed nuclear.
No. I think you said, even if you did not speak specifically, because you spoke about 1960 since Pelindaba, but you can say how they confide.
Yeah. When you generate energy, or using any source, even coal, the waste from coal is the ashes. All these ashes, which are huge, by the way, and also solar panels, they become waste once they reach once the plant reach its end of life. Then in nuclear, we have also a nuclear waste. When there's nuclear fuel that generate electricity, the uranium pellets that you put there, they become waste, and we call them spent fuel. Once they become spent fuel, you can choose to either recycle or reprocess, but then they become waste, which it has to be disposed in a certain manner. Then within the industry, we have people, scientists that take care of nuclear waste. That's why I'm saying we've generated waste since 1960, and we have a waste disposal plant in the Northern Cape with scientists who are highly trained to look into this nuclear waste disposal or management. We're the only industry that does that, by the way, in the energy sector. Others, you find those solar panels lying down, and it's not like they're safe. they have a certain amount of radiation. But we know where the waste that we generated in 1960. I can take you to that drum because it comes in a very small amount. Nuclear generates very small amount of waste.
Okay. All right. Now we are closing.
Yes.
How do we get to 105? Because I want to do this. Let's talk about the options that we have.
I'm going to open.
Yes, it's fine. Do that because we are targeting 105 megawatt in.
Yeah, that 105 here, there's a table that
Yes.
the minister published. So we are looking into 16,000 megawatt of, he called it distribution generation.
Yes.
I don't know what that is, but it's distribution generation. And then we're looking into the storage, the battery energy storage system of 8,500 megawatt. Then we have gas, 16,000 megawatt. I don't know where you're going to get gas from. Don't ask me. I'm a nuclear person. And then we have wind, 34,000 megawatt. Look at the amount of wind. Have you traveled in South Africa and you was blown by wind? That because you need a lot of wind to generate this capacity, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. There's 34,000 megawatt of wind. There's 25,000 megawatt of solar PV. Then we have this 5,200 megawatt of nuclear, and the 4,200 that will come later on once the nuclear industrialization plan has advised minister. So that's where the 105 is going to come from.
All right. How far is South Africa in hydrogen energy? Do you know?
Hydrogen energy. A minister spoke about hydrogen because what they are looking into green hydrogen. And so minister said, we don't have green hydrogen here because the research or the research has not been done to advise us on how we can't cost it. We can't say per kilowatt hour or per megawatt, this is the cost of the hydrogen energy source or energy. We don't have that. It's still under research. So we are not there yet. But we are, right now, South Africa is investing into, not only South Africa, we saw the investment coming from the EU Commission. They are also looking into green hydrogen production. But what people need to know, when we talk about green hydrogen, we are talking about a carrier. We are not talking about an energy source. You need another energy sources like coal, like nuclear, to generate green hydrogen. But we are not here to talk about that. Let's close.
Thank you very much, Mashani, politically correct. The questions that you have, please write them down because she's a friend of the show. If we are lucky, she would answer all your questions in the comments. Like, I'm just happy that she came. It was very difficult to get. When a big story like that it breaks, it will obviously attract a lot of media attention. You do know I tried many times to ask her, or it's just one of those complex things that you never know. Are we in it? Are we not in it? We would never know. But here's the thing. 2.2 trillion.
Yeah, no. Don't close. 2.2 trillion. This is not an amount that government is going to spend. Minister said, we are opening the market, investors come, but it's like a budget. I have a budget. If you want to come and invest your maybe 3 billion, then it's fine, we accept it, then it will fall under this 2.2 trillion. And also, just before we go, because people think this 2.2 trillion is for nuclear build. No, it's not for nuclear, it's for the whole plan. The whole plan. And in terms of nuclear cost, people always ask how much is going to be nuclear. And Zuma trillion, Egypt plant, it cost around $30 billion to build that plant, and it's built by Russians. And
Let
Russians,
me punch the numbers.
it's
Immediately.
and that's in rands or today's currency.
Yes.
It's around 152 billion rand.
Yeah.
152 we are not even 1 trillion, 152 billion. And Rosatom, the Russian company, is bringing 85% of that money. So that's the beauty of nuclear, is that nuclear vendors, yes, they have different financing models that they bring into a country. If the country says is poor, like we are poor, then the vendors will say, okay, we'll cover 60% of the nuclear build program.
You are not meddling in political spaces, but you do understand, and you said how difficult politics are. According to you, this is a closing one. Do you think South Africans' hesitation with such big numbers is because of the past that they had with the African National Congress in government, Medupi, Matla, and others? Do you think
Which is
it justified?
It's justified, but I want people to know that the Medupi and Kusile project, those are project managers' fault problems. Then it's not a technology problem. I speak from a technological perspective.
Okay.
You are a project manager. It's your project. Then your project gets delayed. And the project managers of coal plants, they're not the same as project managers of nuclear. Nuclear is a highly regulated space, but people's concerns are justified. That it's this government, they fail to build and the people who are building with Medupi and Kusile, by the way, those are not South African companies. Those are people that others trust, the foreign companies.
Correct. We call them the independent power producers. She spoke about how this mega
not
plan,
independent.
this mega plan incorporates everyone, and we even use the old adage of saying the cake is big enough for everyone to eat. And you wonder, why did we spend a lot of time fighting? Why did we spend a lot of time calling a nuclear the proposal that is the Jacob Zuma nuclear with the Russians, and we wasted a lot of time? Now we could be better. But anyway, politically incorrect. Princy,
Thank you so much.